have our guest speaker. I'm going to have Ned Clark, our assistant governor, come up, introduce our guest speaker, Dr. David Uhl. I have to tell you, I went to, Margot and I went to Upper Arlington's Rotary Club the week before we started here. And Dr. Uhl spoke, and he is a fantastic speaker. He never has to have notes. He knows everything. I mean, it's amazing.
No pressure.
So I thought, and I asked him, I just want to know how he does it. So, but he's a fantastic speaker.
Thanks for loading me up with that.
On the flip side, there's me. I definitely need notes, and you might notice that my notes were doctored by our speaker, so I'm not sure what I'm about to say. So it's really been a pleasure for me to get to know David over the last couple of years. Really an exceptional person, in my opinion. And it's you hear him and you get to know him. I believe that you'll feel the same. So David was born and raised in Lancaster. That's in Ohio, not Delaware. He's a graduate of Lancaster High School, Ohio Christian University, and Capella University. Holds a bachelor's degree in religion, a master's degree in education, and a PhD in organizational management and leadership. And as if that's not enough, he is also an ordained minister with the Churches of Christ in Christian Union. He works full-time as the superintendent and CEO of the Fairfield County Board of easy for me to say, Developmental Disabilities. He also serves as the president of Lancaster City Council and a lead pastor at Rushville Church. He also travels around Ohio as a Maxwell leadership speaker and trainer. Maybe that has something to do with why he's such a good speaker. He received the Young Professional of the Year Award from the Lancaster Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce in 2012, was named one of Columbus Business First 40 under 40 in 2018. He became a Rotarian 20 years ago and served as the president of his club, the Rotary Club of Lancaster, in 1718, which was also during his club's 100-year anniversary. Pretty cool opportunity, I'd say. He is a current Paul Harris Fellow and Paul Harris Society member, as well as a member of the 125 Club, and Polio Society member. He scored the winning goal in the Columbus Blue Jackets game last night. Oh, wait a minute. That might have been an addition. He married his wife Perla in 2002, and they have 2 children who I'm sure you will meet if you attend a district event. They are Samantha, who is 13, and Ethan, who is 9, future Rotarians for sure. And this is important to know. He prefers orange and red M&Ms, right side Twix. I still don't know what that means. And Froze's Reese's peanut butter cups. I am not making that up. Please welcome our district governor, David Uhl.
Thank you all very much. I always appreciate the standing ovation on the front end. You never know what's going to happen over the next few minutes. So thank you for that. It is an honor to be with you. It's an honor to serve as district governor of the greatest district in the state of Ohio, 6690. It has been an absolute blast running all over the district over the last few years, preparing to be district governor and then becoming district governor on July 1st. Our district is large. Union and Delaware County, all the way south to Jackson and everything east of that line. 58 clubs, 3,000 Rotarians, and it has been such a fantastic opportunity to be able to travel all over the central and southeastern part of the state to get to know so many of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you to the one who said she would never be here but is here today. I appreciate that. I assume it's because of me, man, that you are here. And so, yes, thank you very much. Thank you. I always like to start by saying thank you to a number of people and to you for a number of things. And of course, we have some great past district leadership members here, some past district governors. You have a heritage and a history as a club of having unbelievable leaders in our district. And I know Nelson is online. So Nelson, thank you as past district governor. I know Luke McCormick is here. I talked to him already, unless he left. There he is. Thank you, past district governor Luke. And current past district governor and current past district governor chair of our council of past district governors, Steve Heiser, right over there. Let's show them our appreciation for their service to our history. In addition, we have some great current leadership team members. Tom Carlisi, as you know, is our peace chair. I'll talk more about peace in a little while. Amanda Bowen is an assistant governor. And then, of course, you have who will now be only the fourth woman district governor in the history of our district, sitting right over here, Sandy Knazel, coming up in 2 years. So thank you to our current leadership. There's a lot of past leadership team members too. I know Hugo's here and others who have served at the district level. Thank you for serving. I also want to say thank you to each one of you, not only for being here on an early Tuesday, brisk, cold morning, but simply for being Rotarians. The work that you do as Rotarians is having a significant impact right here in Columbus and the surrounding area and around the world. And I always like to just run down some of the things that you already know that I have seen that you are working on. Things like the Walking the Dead 5K, where you're raising dollars to do good in the world. The fact that you gave out thousands of school supplies to more than 400 students here in the last several months. The student service above self event, the things that you are doing in this community are having an impact. But you're not only investing your time, you continue to invest your resource at a very high level as well. For example, last year, you gave more than $20,000 to the Rotary Foundation. Now that's over and above whatever you're doing at the local club level. $20,721 to the Rotary Foundation. And those dollars are important because those dollars from the annual fund get invested for 3 years. And after 3 years, those dollars come back to the district. And those dollars get split. 50% come back to the district. We use those for district designated funds. We use those to fund your district grant projects here in 6690. Are you a district grant project this year? You have a district grant project?
We do, yes.
Yeah.
Which one is
Rafiki.
Rafiki? Very good. And so the $2,000 that you put in, we match that $2,000 and it turns into 4. Those are your dollars at work that are coming back to our district after 3 years. So this year, the dollars you invest, whoever comes after Sandy will reap the benefit of that, as will you, as you continue to be a district club grant project club. And so it's a fantastic opportunity. And those dollars are so important. The other 50% go to the World Fund, where they're being invested internationally in projects that Rotary is involved in around the world. And so thank you for your giving. To polio, you gave $8,500 last year. That is a significant investment in our efforts to end polio. You had 9 brand new Paul Harris Fellows, 6 Paul Harris Society members, which is a commitment to give $1,000 annually, year over year. You have 9 eligible, though. So there were people who gave $1,000 last year, but they haven't signed up to be a Paul Harris Society member. We can get you signed up today. You see Steve Heiser, he'd love to sign you up. And you had 36 125 club members. And here's the big number. Over the life of your club, at least since we've been tracking it in the current system, the number that we have, you have given $1,639,000 to the Rotary Foundation. That is significant. I think it deserves a round of applause for the great things that you're doing. Well, you no doubt know at this point, we're 6 months in or so to the Rotary year, that our theme this year is to create hope in the world. And it's been said that a person can live 40 days without food, 4 days without water, 4 minutes without air, but only 4 seconds without hope. And you are Rotarians, you're people of action who have decided that in your life you're going to place service above self and do some good in the world. And as we work toward doing that every single day, as we focus on this idea of creating hope in the world, there are 6 things that we're asking you as a club and as individual Rotarians to connect with this year. 6 things that flow straight from the Rotary International Plan of Action, their strategic plan that we have adopted as strategic initiatives in the district this year. 6 things. And I'm going to talk about them. I always encourage people to take out a pen and paper or grab your phone, because as we go along the journey this morning, you're going to repeat these 6 things back to me several times. And so let's get started with the first one. Number 1 is this: membership. Rotary is a membership organization. Congratulations to the new member that was brought in today, Mr. Webster. Thank you for being a Rotarian. If we don't have members, we can't continue to do the good service that you are doing every single day. Now, we've got an issue because we have 1.3 million members around the world. Some people, we have Rotary math going on. Some will say 1.4 million now. That's because we put Rotaractors in as well. But there are 1.3 million members in Rotary today. 2 decades ago, there were 1.3 million members in Rotary. And we have a problem. And you say, how can that be? How is this possible? When we're bringing in new members, hundreds and thousands of new members every single year into Rotary. It's not so much a recruitment issue as it is a retention issue. Just as many, if not more, Rotarians every year are heading out our back doors. And it's for varying reasons. Some people are retiring and choosing not to affiliate with the club. Some people are moving, and unlike Mr. Webster, they're not re-affiliating with a Rotary club. They just don't get reconnected. Some people are passing away in our ranks. Unfortunately, there are some people who are leaving Rotary because they're telling their clubs that they are not meeting their needs as a member. We are a membership organization, and we need to meet the needs of our club members. And by the way, that's different. 58 clubs in the district, 58 different ways to do that. But we have to meet the membership needs in our clubs. And there are people who are reporting at high levels that they're leaving because they don't believe that their clubs are meeting their needs. They don't believe their clubs are doing good service in the community. And so we have to work on this. And each one of us has a role and responsibility. So who's your membership chair? It's you, right? It's Chris? Is that right? So who's on your committee?
They want to raise their hands?
Yeah, there's your membership committee. And who's responsible for membership? Everybody. That's right. You've been through this before. You know that we all have a role. We can't depend just on Chris. We can't depend just on Manana. We can't just depend on the committee to bring members in. It is all of our responsibility. And as we think about that, we also have to ask the question, what can I do? What is my role in enhancing the club experience? What can I do to make this club a better place to come and be a part of in the mornings when we have breakfast together and hear great speakers? You have unbelievable speaker lineups. It's fantastic. I see it on Facebook all the time. What can we do to enhance our service projects? What can we do to ensure that we have great fundraisers and great social events? What role do you play? And we've challenged everyone over the last couple of months, and this challenge will continue. It will start again after the first of the year. We're encouraging you, each one, to bring one. Because here's the reality. There are people missing from around your table. We talk about creating hope in the world, and we oftentimes think of that as the globe, the big world, right? But we all live in our own little worlds. We have influence with family, with friends, with co-workers and neighbors. And because you have influence, we know that there are people who are looking for an outlet. They want to give, they want to serve, and they may not know how to do it. You know people who should be Rotarians. They should be a part of Rotary. They should be members of your club. And so who can you invite to a social, to a fundraising event, to a meeting on Tuesday morning? Who can you bring? So we're encouraging you to do this. Our Each One Bring One campaign is wrapping up. We've asked clubs to track visitors. The club with the most visitors per capita in September, October, and November wins a $500 district governor social visit. And so I'll come back, we'll go out somewhere, I'll buy all the district, or Luke, we'll buy all of the booze, all of the food, we'll have a great time together celebrating. And if you were like, oh, we're on the tail end of this and we didn't have a lot of visitors or we didn't try or whatever, we're going to do it again probably February, March, and April. You'll have an opportunity, but you don't need a contest to invite someone to be a part of your club. And so think about who's missing your table. Not only who should be there who isn't a Rotarian, but as you've made this transition, which by the way, you're leading forward in our district. You're leading forward, showing that the oldest club in our district can make a transition in day and time that is significant and still have this many people coming. But there are people who aren't here. Who can you reach out to that's missing, that's a Rotarian, that should be a part of what's happening here on Tuesday mornings? Reach out and make a connection. We must continue to work on this membership issue, or we're going to have significant issues in the next 3, 5, and 10 years as we continue to see people go out the door and are unable to retain them or bring in enough members to keep our membership where it needs to be to continue your good work. And so that's number one, membership. We have to continue to work on it. Number two is club leadership. Now, you have a great history of ensuring that you have a depth of bench, a depth of leadership here in your club. Because here's the thing, you know this, you've done it for a long time. There is no organization in the history of the world that is as successful as Rotary that turns its leadership over every single year. Gordon McAnally, Rotary International President, gets 1 year. I get 1 year. Manana gets 1 year. Sandy's going to get 1 year. That's what we get. And so we have to ensure that there's a deep bench coming in behind us. Now, who's your president-elect?
Emily.
Where's Emily?
She's
Not here today.
She's got
Okay.
COVID, actually.
Oh, no. Okay, so Emily's not here. And then you have a president nominee. Who's that? Jason, very good. And then are you getting ready to do a nominee designate here through your elections? That's fantastic. There are some clubs who get ready to go to president-elect training in March, and a week before they pick their president to go to president-elect training. The president doesn't even know what they're getting into. And that is not the case here in Columbus, and that's a great thing. I hear you have 1 spot left for your ballot. Please don't make the nominating committee. Please don't make Manana come and beg you to be a part. Being president of my club was an unbelievable honor. And you heard I was president during 100th year, and you don't always get a milestone year, but every year that someone gets the opportunity to be president is a phenomenal year. And for me, I wasn't even trying to become president. We have a process where the top vote getter is president, and the second and third get on the board for 3 years. I was just trying to get on the board. And the next thing I knew, I ended up as president. And no one knew it was going to be our 100th anniversary. I found that out a year later when our historian was doing a Rotarian of the Year presentation, and he said, and in 2018, we'll turn 100. And I went, wait a second. That's my year. And I had no idea that this was going to happen. And so I just want you to know that serving at the club level is an unbelievable honor. And there are people who say, oh, I don't have time. Well, it takes up a little bit of time. But as has been shown through the decades and centuries that you've been a part, people can have a career. They can have a family. They can be involved in other things in the community and still effectively serve as president or on the board of their Rotary Club. It is possible. It takes up a little bit of time, but as with anything, you get out of it what you put into it. Some people say, oh, there's too much training. Manana, how much required training did we have? Required. Do you remember?
No.
One thing. President-elect training.
Oh.
And there's a myth that, oh, there's just all this training. Well, there is a lot of training. It's all optional. You can do it. You can choose not to do it. The only thing you have to do is president-elect training. And so I hope that you will extend your leadership to the club level. And if you've been president, or frankly, if you haven't been president and you're interested in extending your leadership into the district level with some of the great district leaders that you have here in your club, please see me, please see Steve or Sandy, and we'd be happy to connect you, because for every committee you have, we have one at the district level. And the district exists to serve clubs, to resource clubs. It's the reason that we're here. So I want to encourage you to step up and step into these leadership positions in your club. You will have a phenomenal experience, and it will add a ton of value to you and to your club and your community. So that's number two. Number one, number two, club leadership. That's right. Number three is peace. Now, I don't have to talk a lot about peace here because Tom Carlisi is a member of your club. You are a peace club and you're already doing great work in the area of peace in Rotary. But I want you to know a couple things, and I would say this whether Tom was here or not. Tom is doing a phenomenal job, along with Mary Jane Shackelford, past District Governor MJ, in leading our peace initiatives at the district level. Our peace committee, our district peace committee, is known around the world. Tom is not here today because he is doing a webinar with people from around the world on positive peace initiatives today. He is making a significant impact. Our district, because of Tom and MJ's leadership, was asked to become the very first peace chapter of Ohio in the history of the world. There is no other peace chapter that's statewide across our country or around the world. This just happened in October. We are leading that initiative forward, attempting to get the other 4 districts in Ohio to become peace districts, attempting to get the other clubs in Ohio to become peace clubs. And that's being led by your own Tom Carlisi. And so he is doing great things. Please thank him and encourage him and continue your work in peace. And let me just mention this one area that we sometimes don't connect to peace, but that is very much a peace project. Let me encourage you, if you aren't or if you haven't in a long time, to host an exchange student in your club in the coming year. Our exchange program is a peace program. We have the opportunity to send students from your community to other countries to experience a culture they may not otherwise get to experience as a young teen, to experience something that will help them understand and have more of a worldview and perspective than they would if they were just staying here in the States. And we get to accept students from around the world who come in. They enroll in your local school district. They live with one of 3 host families throughout the year. So you say, oh, I can't commit to a year. 3 months of hosting a student, and then they move on to the next family, and then they move on to a 3rd family. And while they're here, they have unbelievable experiences. They go to New York and they go to Disney and they go all over the country experiencing what America is all about. And no matter where these people land, the students who come in that you have an opportunity to host and the students that we send out to other countries, wherever they land, they will take those experiences of having a cultural experience in another country with them, which promotes positive peace. I don't know if you know, but there are some people who don't think America is all that great. And so when we have the opportunity to bring students in and show them what truly is, not what they see in the media or hear, there's a significant impact. And so let me encourage you to connect through peace by hosting an exchange student in the next year. That was 3, peace, number 1. Number 2,
Club leadership.
Number 3,
Peace.
Number 4 is a new area for Rotary. It is mental health. Rotary has not done a lot of work in the past in the area of mental health, yet we know a few things. 1, awareness for mental health is very, very low in the United States, and the stigma around mental health is very, very high. It's been this way for decades. We had mental health issues in our country prior to the pandemic. The pandemic only worsened those mental health issues as people were lonely and isolated and unable to connect with their loved ones. And it's not gotten all that much better as we have worked to emerge from the pandemic. And so Gordon McAnally, our international president, has asked us to focus across the country and around the world this year on mental health, promoting positive mental health initiatives. And there's an important reason why. Gordon tells the story about his brother Ian. Ian was a successful IT professional in Scotland. Ian was married, had a beautiful wife, 2 children, lived a life that many would dream of living. And while he was at an IT teleconference here in the United States, in California, Ian took his own life. And every day for the last 7 days, Gordon McAnally says, I've had to ask myself the question, what did we miss? What signs were there that if we would have known them, we would have been able to intervene? We would have been able to maybe refer him out to someone who could help him, provide him the resources that he needed. And so the question for us is, what is our role with regard to mental health? What do we do? Now, the district has ideas and resources, but we're not prescriptive. You can choose to engage in these areas I'm talking about in any way that you would want. And easy ways to engage in the area of mental health would be to bring in a speaker, someone who could speak about mental health and about the signs and the symptoms and the resources that are available in your community. You could do fundraising or volunteer at a mental health organization here in your community. There are multiple ways to get involved. There's a fantastic program from the state of Ohio, Ohio Department of Mental Health. It's free, and it's called Mental Health First Aid. Now, where I work, I have to be first aid and CPR certified. But guess what the statistics tell us? It is unlikely that I am ever going to save through CPR or first aid someone that I work with. Who's it going to be? It's going to be a family member. It's going to be a friend or someone that I'm around much more often. And the same thing is true with mental health first aid. You're going to have the opportunity to make an impact in someone's life. Now, listen, we're not trying to make everyone counselors. We're lay people in this space. Maybe you have a mental health professional or two in your club, but we're not counselors. We're not professional mental health people, staff, employees. But you can still make a difference. And Mental Health First Aid is an 8-hour program that you host. It's not Rotarian centric. You would just host it. Your only obligation is to feed the people. It's 8 hours. They will come to the place. You can invite the community, and they will teach you the things that you need to know to make an impact in this space, to connect to the resources that are available, to see the signs and symptoms and know what to do. So no matter what you do, as an individual Rotarian this year and as a club, look for ways to connect to mental health initiatives. I believe this is something that will be continued into the future. We have a history of past Rotary International presidents carrying forward the projects of the previous president, and I expect mental health will continue to be something that's focused on in the future. So I hope you'll connect both individually and as a club with a mental health initiative this year. That was number 4. Number 1. Number 2, 3, 4. I do this mostly so I can remember where I'm at. Number 5. Number 5 is empowering girls. As I said, this is a project that was started by Rotary International past President Shaker Mehta during his year. And empowering girls is an important part of what Rotary is committed to. Let me tell you some of the statistics from an organization right here in your community called On Our Sleeves. On Our Sleeve, or sorry, ROCKS. ROCKS is the organization, Ruling Our Experiences. Ruling Our Experiences is telling us that something happens in girls between the ages of 9 and 14. That there is a significant crisis of confidence in girls that age. That their confidence level in those preteen and early teen years drops precipitously off a cliff. And so again, we must ask the question as Rotarians, what should we do? And you might say, well, yeah, but it depends, right? It depends on where they live, or if they have a 2-parent household, or their socioeconomic status, or their childhood experiences, right? It matters. It does not matter. It is across the board, across the country, in communities all around, and right here in Columbus. I have an almost 14-year-old who thinks she's 27, but she's right at that age where I have been interested in this research, where I have been working to figure out how can I ensure that my daughter doesn't experience this confidence drop off in her life. Because here's what we know right now: there are girls who live in Columbus between the ages of 9 and 14, girls who are in AP classes, girls who have an above 4.0 GPA, girls who are leaders in academics and in music and the arts and on sports, that are experiencing this confidence crisis. There are girls right here in Columbus who do not believe when they graduate that they have the skills, gifts, and abilities to pursue their dream job. They don't believe they can do it. And so we must ensure that we continue to mentor girls, empower girls. And there are ways to do it. Again, one of the ways you can do it is to connect with some organization like ROCKS, which is a fantastic organization, has curriculum in school districts across the country that works to address this confidence crisis and issue during the preteen and teenage years. You can have a speaker come in and talk about this and talk about ways you can connect in the community. Big Brothers Big Sisters is a great way to connect with young girls and empower and support and mentor them. There are multiple ways you and your club can get involved. And let me give you one way that's coming up is we empower girls and women this coming March and April. Last year we did it was called Wins for Women during March Madness, where we collected feminine hygiene products for girls. And just like October, the products that you collect during that product drive stay right here in your own community. You donate them out to some organization right in your community. And isn't it unbelievable to think that in America in 2023, there are girls that do not have access to the products they need? But it's true. It's true right here in Columbus. It's true across our district. And so we started this feminine hygiene product drive. And last year we did it at PETS, President-elect Training. And we challenged the other 4 districts in Ohio to do it with us. And we collected thousands and thousands and thousands of products. And of course, the best district in the state of Ohio, 66901. We collected the most. The trophy's in my trunk if you want to see it afterward. But the beneficiaries were the girls that now have access to the products that they needed. Men, we can't understand this. Perhaps a touch if we have a daughter. Women are those who can understand this. Think of the confidence issue a young girl would have if she's at school and she does not have access to the products that she needs on a regular basis. It's happening right here in Columbus. So let me tell you about the power of Rotary. When we did this at President-elect Training last year, someone somehow heard about it and they had influence with the governor's office, with the legislature, something. And so in the governor's budget that just passed in July and went into effect in October, it is now required that every school provide these products to girls free of charge. Every school has to do this as a part of the governor's budget. That's the power of Rotary. That happened because of our project. And we're going to continue that project this year. So you say, oh, we're not sure how to connect with young girls and empower women. This is a way that you can do it by joining us in our district service project to collect these products and then distribute them however you see fit to organizations right here in Columbus. We must continue forward. We must find ways to empower girls so that they grow up to be strong leaders who will lead our clubs and our communities and our nations forward. So I hope you'll somehow connect with this initiative this year and in the years to come as we work to create hope in the world. That was number 5. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6 is polio. Polio remains Rotary's chief corporate priority. We made a promise to the children of the world more than 30 years ago that we would eradicate this disease once and for all, and we are so very close. To date this calendar year, there are 11 cases of polio in the entire world. 11 cases of the wild polio virus in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And we need your help because it will take hundreds of millions of dollars to rout out these final cases. And you say once again, how can that be? After we've been at this for more than 3 decades, after we've gotten this down to just 11 cases this calendar year, how can this be possible? Remember, Rotary is in more than 100 countries right now doing polio work, polio monitoring. They're helping healthcare organizations build out sustainable vaccination programs. They're ensuring that polio doesn't come back because guess what, my friends? Every child born today in the world must be vaccinated. Every child born tomorrow in the world must be vaccinated. Vaccination works when it comes to polio eradication, and we've proved it because thousands of kids a day were contracting polio in the 1980s, and there are 11 cases this calendar year. We believe that next year could be the year we start to see 0 cases in the world. Now, you have to be polio-free for 3 years to be declared polio-free as a country. So we're on a 3 or 4 year track here, but in the next 3 to 4 years, we believe it is possible that this disease will be wiped out. We have invested $2 billion as Rotarians in this fight. More than $10 billion has been leveraged from that $2 billion from government and other partners to push this forward. And we cannot stop now. We must put our foot on the accelerator and push through in a history-making campaign that ensures we keep our promise. And I'll just tell you, there are women right now right in Columbus, in our district, who are having children who are young enough, they don't know what polio is. They've not heard of polio. They don't know someone because that generation is passing away, whoever had polio. They think that if they did know about it, it magically just disappeared. They don't realize that the inoculations that their young children get when they take them to the pediatrician includes the polio vaccine. My friends, it did not magically disappear. It disappeared because of you, because of your work, because of your giving, because of your commitment to ensuring that we keep our promise to end polio now. And we need your help. I set an audacious, huge goal for our district this year to raise $250,000 to eradicate polio. We typically, as a district, raise $140,000 to $150,000. The easy math is that I need $100,000 in new money to move this initiative forward. And remember, your donation to polio turns from $1 to $3. Every dollar you give turns into $3 through the Bill and Melinda Gates match. See, Rotary is committed to raising $50 million a year to get that additional $100 million from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. If we raise 49 million, they say, thanks, try again. We'll see you next year. Now, that has never happened. In all the years that Rotary is committed to this, we have always met our $50 million goal. We've slid in hot sideways on June 30th, sometimes wondering if we were going to hit it, but Rotarians have always come through, and we need your help. And this is the challenge. The challenge for you this year is we move toward 250,000, which will become 750,000 through Bill and Melinda Gates. Do something. If you have never given to polio before, give $25, give $50. What can your club do as a fundraiser, as an initiative to get from that 8,500 that you gave last year, 8,500 to 10,000 this year? We're challenging every club to try for 10% more than they did last year to help us get to our goal. There are multiple ways to give. Your treasurer's here somewhere. I'm sure you can write them a check for 50 or 100 or even $1,000 for polio today. Those dollars all go toward your Paul Harris Fellowship. Polio giving is foundation giving. And so those dollars can be pushed toward, can be counted toward your next Paul Harris Fellow. I see Steve reaching for his wallet. None of the rest of you are doing it, but Steve's doing it. And I want to encourage you today to help us keep our commitment to the children of the world, to be a part of history, and to give something to polio. And if you've regularly given to polio, what more can you do this year to push us toward our goal? We cannot do it on our own. We need your help. And I'm so thankful for all that you have already done to help us end polio now. That was number 6. Let's have them one more time. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. 5. And 6. It's been said that hope has 2 sisters, anger and courage. The anger at the way things are in our world, the injustice that we see, the disparities that exist in our communities, and then the courage to take action and do something about it. My friends, you are Rotarians. We are people of action. And I'm so very thankful for all that you have done, and so very thankful for all that you will do to connect with these district priorities this year and create hope in the world. Thank you all so much for your time. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. Very quickly, let me encourage you to take out your phone and put this date on your calendar. Our district conference is coming up April 19th through the 21st. You will receive more information. You should have received a save the date in the mail. Let me just tell you that it's at Deer Creek State Lodge, completely remodeled. They're trying to keep up with the Hocking Hills new lodge, so they've remodeled their whole facility. It's beautiful. We're going to have phenomenal speakers that are be involved in talking about these areas specifically. April 19th to the 21st. Registration will open in January. Keep watching for information. I hope that you will join us in Pickaway/Fayette County area at Deer Creek coming up this spring. With that, if we have a moment, I'll be happy to try to answer any questions before I turn it back over to your president. Yes, sir. You go.
I was empowering girls playing in Muslim countries.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I'm not sure that I know the answer. Some of this does get contextualized based on how certain countries believe or what their religious sort of beliefs may be. And so probably not very well would be my guess overall. But in those areas where we know we have opportunities, I think we're working to try to capitalize on those. But I would imagine it is certainly a challenge there. Yes, sir.
Mr. Alt, my name is Mark Sheever. For the record and following through with empowering girls and club leadership, I'd like to make a slight correction.
Please.
Your statements, and I'm very sorry. But Nancy Trucks was really the person who started and brought to the board the idea and the creation of the Peace Committee. Tom has been active and continues to be and travels everywhere and is a wonderful life. But just for the record, in light of women, Nancy Trucks was really our person.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks for that. Thanks for that note. Yes. Yes. Very good. Anyone else? Questions? Yes, sir.
So speaking of exchanges, do we have any GSE or ambassadorial scholars funded by the district this year?
I'm not sure if we do. I don't believe that we do this year. We continue to search them out, but they have been difficult to recruit given the information and knowledge I have about it. So it's something that I think will remain a priority. Again, if in my year, if it's not done, it ain't happening. With 6 months left, we have we have the year planned out. I have, after the first of the year, about 14 more clubs to get to, and I will finish the 58 visits. We're working hard on district conference. We've had a multitude of other events and initiatives. And so it's really District Governor-elect Gary Baker, District Governor nominee Sandy, who would be a great resource to connect with, to try to talk about what we can do to recruit and ensure we have them in the coming years. Yes.
On the same vein, we used to have vocational exchanges where people from other countries have come and spent time. Is that program totally stopped?
I wouldn't say it's stopped. There's still some work and some desire to do it. We haven't had since COVID anyone doing it, but out of the
Yeah, I mean,
the club.
yeah,
Hold on.
we owe Mongolia. We have.
Yeah, we do with Mongolia.
Yeah.
And then there's a club who has someone who's leading this up that's working to try to get some more together, both outbound and inbound opportunities. But we haven't gotten it off the ground. So I wouldn't say it's dead. But there's work that needs to be done to keep it off of life support moving forward.
Yeah, there is not district or RI money. Well, there may be some district for NGSE, maybe a little bit of money, but it's no longer an RI program. Right?
So there remains a committee and people interested, but we've got some work to do if we're going to try to revive it and make it happen. Anyone else? Other questions? Oh, yes, sir. I didn't see that.
Is there an issue with people getting vaccinated or having their kids vaccinated for polio in the United States today? Because there's a lot of anti-vax feeling out there, and I wonder if that's an issue.
Yeah, that's a great question. In large measure, I don't think that there is. There are areas and pockets where that's happening. Many of you would have seen the news a year or so ago that there was a polio case that popped in New York. That was a result of a community that had a more than 65% non-polio vaccination rate. I believe it was a community that had religious beliefs against vaccination. And so that's the reason that as they were doing water, wastewater testing, that they saw that wild polio case. They were able to track it back to the person. That person had traveled, had contracted and brought it back. And that's the ticket, my friends. It's a plane ride away. And so that's why vaccination must continue forward. And again, I think in great measure, there are people who don't even realize that it's happening when their children are being vaccinated. And so there's certainly an anti-vaccination sentiment, and that was exacerbated by COVID. But when it comes to children and vaccines, I think that in large measure in this country, we continue to see people giving their children the inoculations that are recommended by pediatricians.
One more question.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you all again very much. I'll hang around after if you have other questions.
Great speaker. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.